What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 56 of C4SVillains. I am your host JB and I am here with one member of the Council of Villains, my boy Steve. Steve, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course, of course. If I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna show up. So we're just gonna do the army of two today.
Yeah. And we have a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. Now, we were originally going to talk about the Moon Knight 2016 run, but we actually thought that it would be a little bit more fun if we talked about that after Moon Knight, and then we can kind of compare the things that the Moon Knight series took from the comics. So there was a bunch of movie news to talk about. So that's what this episode is going to be. We're going to be talking about Christopher Lloyd joining Mando Season 3. We're going to be talking about the Morbius reactions, that Joker deleted scene. Misha Collins from Supernatural is joining the Gotham Knight series as Harvey Dent. We got a lot of great stuff to talk about. So let's just dive right in and let's start off with Christopher Lloyd joining Mando Season 3. Now, when I heard this news, I'm a huge Christopher Lloyd fan. I love Back to the Future. I love anything that he's in. If you saw Nobody, which is a really great action movie with Bob Odenkirk, by the way, he's in that movie. Christopher Lloyd's awesome. He's going to be in the sequel as well. Like, I was so excited to hear that he's going to be in Mando Season 3. Now, it's an undisclosed role. Deadline reached out to Lucasfilm. They had no comment on what his role is going to be, but I am very excited for him to be in this. Steve, what are your thoughts?
I'm much like you. I love Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd, also Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He's also in Clue, the actual Clue, the movie based off the game. Like Christopher Lloyd really does no wrong, and I'm just excited to see him back on screen. I never even knew he was in Nobody, so I need to go check that out. But I do love Christopher Lloyd, man. Like the obvious is Back to the Future, but he does a lot of stuff, and he's really, really good. Like people are asleep on how much range he actually has. He's really good.
Yeah, really, really good actor. Now, you saw the Book of Boba Fett, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so from Book of Boba Fett, we know exactly what Mando Season 3 is going to be about. So Mando Season 3 is going to see, spoilers for Book of Boba Fett, but Mando Season 3 is going to see our boy Din Djarin and Grogu going to Mandalore in order for him to, I forget exactly what the trial is called, but he's pretty much trying to, for lack of a better term, reclaim his honor so that he can remain a Mandalorian. So I'm very excited to see where that goes. After Mando Season 2, we knew that they would end up on Mandalore, everything with Bo-Katan, the Darksaber, everything with Giancarlo Esposito's character. Why am I blanking on his name right now? I can't remember his name.
I don't know his name.
Yeah,
either.
but yeah, once we got all of that info, I knew we would end up on Mandalore, and I am beyond excited for Mando Season 3. What are your thoughts on just like your excitement for Mando Season 3?
I'm excited just because, like you said, like he got to reclaim his spot back in because, right, and I love the fact that he was honest when he asked them, they were like, "Have you ever removed your mask?" And he was like, "Yes, I have." And it's like, no, shut up, you fool. Like nobody would know. But it's just like it was showing how honorable.
That's not the way.
Yeah. So it's like, to me, I'm thinking like, okay, so once he goes and he shows up, he'll eventually convince them just because of the fact that I didn't have to tell you. I could have lied. So it just shows how honorable he is, man. But I'm excited to see it because all Book of Boba Fett was like a tease for us to get Mandalorian 3. Because Book of Boba Fett was okay, and then as soon as the Mandalorian steps on the screen, he steals the show. And his fight scene, oh my God, his fight in like episode 4, I think it was. I was just like, come on, man. like it's just like, just give us more Mandalorian. Don't waste your time giving us Book of Boba Fett or anything else. Just give us more Mando.
See, I'm different. I loved Book of Boba Fett. I thought it was awesome. Like, yeah, the first 3 episodes, just literally watching what he was doing after the events of Return of the Jedi, up until the moment, he meets Mando. I loved Book of Boba Fett. But of course, the best episode was when just the Mando episode. That was the best episode. Like, there's no denying it. And then, get spoilers again, but getting to see like Luke and getting to see Ahsoka, like that was lit being able to see them. And the de-aging was way better
in thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, way better than in season 2, man. But yeah, Very excited for Mando season 3. I hope they do another season of Book of Boba Fett now that we've had like essentially a reintroduction to the character. I think the next season would be cool to like just see like the new adventures of Fennec Shand and Boba Fett. Like, would you
Yeah.
want to see a season 2?
I wouldn't mind it. Like I said, I thought that this was just Mando 2.5 to me. Like that's what it felt like. I was just like, okay, it's okay. And I did binge it in like 2 days. So I was just like, oh, it's okay. But when Mando stepped on screen, I didn't care about anything else. It was just Mando. Like that's all I cared about. So I wouldn't mind it though, because I did love what's our villain that we got in there? Shoot, the blue faced
Oh,
villain that
Thrawn.
was on Bad Batch. Yeah, I thought that he looked really good. Because on Bad Batch, you look at him and then you see that he's going to be in the show, and you're like,
And Book of Boba Fett. You're talking about shit. I can't remember his name. I thought you were talking about Thrawn. I can't remember his name, but shit. The guy in shit. I can't remember his name. Chat, help
but
me out. I'm blanking on names tonight.
he looked really good. Like I was like, oh, okay, it actually doesn't look bad. So yeah, him being in there, I just actually thought that looked really good, and it was like making me look forward to whatever villain that we might get from the world of Clone Wars or Bad Batch or anything like that we could get. And I'm excited for that, but I'm more just like, give me more Mando. Like that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, man. Very excited for Mando season 3, and it should be coming pretty soon. So I'm very excited. Also very excited for Obi-Wan. That's so close, May, dude. Like, jeez.
That's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Like
And Deborah Chow was talking about how this Vader is going to be very different from any Vader that we've seen before, and that makes sense, right? Like he's in between that transition from where we saw him, at Revenge of the Sith to like Rogue One and A New Hope, right? So it's him transitioning in like the new body and everything. So it's like I'm very, very excited for that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just excited to just see Hayden Christensen again. Like I loved him, and there are people that for some reason, I know they just didn't care for him, but I loved him in that role. I think he was a good actor. I'm surprised that we haven't seen him more. He's like been on a hiatus, I guess, for movies and stuff, which is actually surprising to me because I liked most of his movies.
Yeah. But yeah, man, very excited for that too. Let's move on to our next piece of news: Godzilla versus Kong. Where there's another sequel coming out, and it's shooting in Australia later this year. I was very surprised because we knew another movie was coming.
Mhm.
Legendary's MonsterVerse has been very successful in my eyes. The first Godzilla is the weakest, but it's still a
Mhm.
good movie. And I think Godzilla versus Kong is just like god tier, just pure kaiju fun. So I am
Mhm.
very excited to see what the next chapter is. We could explore more of like the Hollow Earth and all of that shit. Like I'm very, very excited. There could be brand new monsters that we've never seen. What about you?
Opposable thumbs. We need more. Come on, Kong. Like, oh man, every time you thought, okay, so I'm a Godzilla fan, but I definitely thought Kong was gonna pull this off a few times. And it was just like every time you're like, oh, he's got him. And then it's like, oh yeah, I have nuclear breath. So you brought
Godzilla's
like
the
it was
king,
just
man.
like it's just like King Kong beat you up and then you went to the car and got your gun. Like that's what it felt like because it was like, oh yeah, I got toxic breath. Boom. Now you got like it was like, damn, like you couldn't just like give me a shoot the fair one with me, but I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Just because it was just like just meathead fun. I loved it. It was mindless to me. I love just going there and having fun with it and not just having to break it down into a whole bunch of craziness. It was just like Kong versus Godzilla. And when he got the was it his scale and he made the sword, I was like, come on, Kong. It was like he was nerfed the entire movie until the end where they fight the Metal Godzilla. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, they nerfed him. but I'm going to be rooting for Kong next year. I don't care. I'll be in the minority. I'm the Kong fan.
I love Kong too, but no one's above Godzilla, man. Godzilla's the goat. He is the king. It's like, nah, they didn't nerf him. Godzilla's just the goat, man. But
It
like
felt
you
like
said, opposable thumbs. Like Kong had advantages that Godzilla just didn't have that helped him beat Mecha Godzilla. And dude, I talk about it all the time. I think Godzilla versus Kong is the Batman versus Superman movie that we should have gotten.
yeah.
Like, it's crazy because they're at odds in the beginning. They fight a couple times, and then at the end, they have to team up to fight the like mutated version of like one of them. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same shit.
All right, so rank them. Kong versus Godzilla, Batman versus Superman, Freddy versus Jason. Rank.
Godzilla versus Kong, Freddy versus Jason, BVS.
Oh wow! Damn, I was
No,
not
dude, because Freddy versus Jason is just too funny. Like, I watch it every year. We watch it every year because it's just too fucking funny. Freddy's like, "Oh, how sweet, dark meat!" Like, just the one-liners, bro. Like, it's too good.
Okay. I was like, I want to throw some twist in there real quick and ask you.
Well, what about you though?
I was gonna say Godzilla versus Kong, but I would say Batman, Superman, then Freddy versus Jason because I thought that movie was cheesy.
Oh yeah, but they leaned into it though. They knew what they were doing and they were just having fun. And once you do that, I'm good. If you take yourself too seriously and it's a piece of shit movie, like Morbius.
Okay, you caught me off guard with that.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to talk about Morbius, man. Morbius is going to be interesting. But yeah, Brian, I think Freddy versus Jason it's awesome. When you look at it in the right lens, like Batman versus Robin, right? Like Batman versus Robin in the right lens is an absolute fucking masterpiece. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze in the right lens. Dude, it's undeniable. It's genius.
Man, I've had friends that don't really know too much about Batman, and they were like, "The Riddler's not supposed to be serious. He's supposed to be funny. He's supposed to be a jokester." And then I was like, "So how do you feel about Mr. Freeze?" "I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was perfect." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You're telling me everything I need to know right now." I was like, "Because if you think Arnold Schwarzenegger was perfect, no."
Yeah, at all. Like they didn't get it at all. Joel Schumacher, and which is weird though because Joel Schumacher made Batman Forever, and I actually think that Val Kilmer's Batman is very tortured, right? We've seen like deleted scenes on YouTube from Schumacher where it dives a lot deeper into the mental state of Batman. I mean, for fuck's sake, Bruce was going to therapy, right? So they were really going into how like fucked up his mind is and how he uses Bruce Wayne as a mask to just blend in with everyone else. And Dr. Chase Meridian saw right through him. So there's some really interesting themes. And then you hit Batman and Robin, and then like, oh well, of course you get like the Riddler and Two-Face. They're in a completely different fucking movie, and it's just ruined. And then it's just like, well, we just want to sell toys. Nothing has to make sense as long as we sell toys.
The video game was pretty good on Sega too. Batman Forever.
Sure.
It was a pretty good game from what I remember at 8 years old.
Yeah, man. But I'm very excited for Godzilla versus Kong, whatever the sequel is going to be. There was actually a rumor that could be like a Son of Kong type movie. Like I think it was in like the 70s or the 80s. They made like a Son of Kong movie, and they might be like adapting that. Who knows? It could be something completely different. But I'm good either way as long as you keep the same tone, you don't change anything, keep it as cheesy as you want. I'm there. And I'll be right there in the theater, opening weekend, 5 stars. just don't change.
5 stars.
But let's move on to our next news topic. So a Nova project has officially been announced at Marvel Studios with the writer of Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight is coming out on March 30th. That is Wednesday. And we will see exactly how this writer's writing style will be. But just from all of the earlier reviews, all the early reviews, Moon Knight is really, really good. I've only heard good things about Moon Knight, and then to hear that this writer is going to be working on a Nova project, which, according to Deadline, the sources think that it could be a limited series on Disney Plus. Very, very excited for that. So, Steve, first off, like, what are your thoughts on this news? Did you see it coming this soon? And then we're also going to do like a quick fan casting for who would want to play Nova in the MCU.
So no, I didn't see it coming. I didn't know very much about Nova. Um, I pretty much know what we get on Marvel vs. Capcom when he's on, I think Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's pretty much my extent, my knowledge on him. Oh, did I freeze up? Sorry. That's pretty much my knowledge on him. Other than that, I didn't really know too much about him. So I don't know too much about the character. But when I saw him, I was all like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then I just immediately started thinking, "Oh, who should play him?" So when we got into that fan cast thing, that's what I got into. But I don't know too much about Nova, the character.
Yeah, but Nova's gonna be really, really cool, especially after the events of like Infinity War and Endgame, right? Like we
Mhm.
know that Thanos went to Xandar and he killed half of the Nova Corps. Now, like he murdered them. They did not get snapped away. They got murdered and then he snapped away another half. So I think that this limited series could really dive into what life was like for people on Xandar during that time in Infinity War and then kind of jumping after Endgame when everyone came back. And
Mhm.
then like maybe that's what makes Nova and that's when they realize they need like one like super powered like space agent, if you will. Like
Mhm.
I'm very, very excited for Nova. Is going to be really, really interesting.
I'm thinking that a lot of these Disney Plus shows that are coming, we're going to start to see more during the snap type life. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think we've really even seen, we've seen before and we've pretty much seen after. We haven't seen a lot of during the snap. So I hope that we get to see a lot more of that world in some of these TV series that are coming out.
Yeah, for sure. So do you want to go first with your fan casting?
Yes, I think that Alan Richardson from Blue Mountain State, Jack Reacher will be great as Nova. Like as soon as I see the little picture that you showed us or whatever, I was like, that looks like him in the suit. To me, I was all like, I look like Alan Richardson. But then you were like, oh, he looks like he was like Alan Richardson might be too bulky for him. But I'm like, I think that he'd be fine. I mean, most of the time, Marvel characters are super huge anyway, regardless of who they are.
True.
So I think that'll work. I think Alan Richardson would be perfect. Um, I don't think I have anybody else right now off the top of my head that I can
Yeah, I
think
only
of.
had one too. And this one was really hard for me because I also think that he would be a really good Wolverine. Taron Egerton. I think he would be a really good Nova.
Nice.
Like he seems like the type of actor that Marvel Studios would hire to do something like this.
Yeah,
And
I think
I go ahead.
I was about to say I think that would actually be good. The thing is, I would want to see him as Wolverine because I've seen him and I've seen Daniel Radcliffe. A lot of people think that Daniel Radcliffe could play Wolverine as well. So if you do decide to hire Edgerton as Nova, then I don't know who you get to play Wolverine in that point. But yeah, I never thought about Edgerton as Nova at all.
Yeah, it just popped into my head. I was like, you know what? It would be interesting. Like he just seems like the type of actor that they would cast. He has really good comedic timing. We know that he can do the action. Like I think he's physically fit to do it. I think it would work perfectly. But like you said, and like I said in the beginning too, like I also would love for him to be Wolverine. So it's like either one and I'd be good. But it's like I would be lying to myself if I didn't think that he would also be a really good like Nova as well. Especially
Yeah.
after you look at who James Gunn cast as like Adam Warlock, right? So
Mhm.
it's like, you know,
What hold on, I just blanked on his name. God damn it. Uh Dude from High School Musical.
Zac
That's in
Efron.
Zach Efron. I think Zach Efron could play a good Nova as well.
Yeah.
Now that you said Edgerton, I was all like, oh, I think Zach Efron could be it.
Yeah.
And we know that he's in shape. He's always in freaking shape. So it's
Yeah.
like, I think he could be a good one.
Yeah, he'd be a really good one too. I think he would also be a good Wolverine. Like, I think he would
He
also be a good
could.
Wolverine too. Like, it's
He
crazy.
might be a little too dreamy to play Wolverine though.
That's fair. That's
Because
fair.
Wolverine's a little more gritty and all that other stuff. He got the blue eyes and things like. He might be a little too handsome to play fucking Wolverine.
All right, so let's move on to our next news topic. Oh boy, we're gonna be getting into the Morbius first reactions. Now, there were some fan screenings in the UK, and all of the reactions that we've seen, the headline is "It's as bad as you thought it would be," which is terrible. That's what everyone's reporting right now. Morbius is as bad as you thought it would be. So I thought it would be fun to just bring up a couple of reactions, and I'll bring them up on screen and read them off to you guys. So first one up here. Well, Morbius is about as bad as you were expecting. A 2005 plot collides with visually confusing CGI to create a bit of a snooze fest. But don't worry, they've saved the worst for last, featuring some of the worst post-credit scenes you've ever seen. Sony are off their rocker. Like, that's
I mean,
absolutely insane, dude.
well, obviously it's Sony. Like, and that's
Right.
what scares me so much about Craven because I'm like, man, I want Craven to be so good. And it's like you're hearing these reviews and you're like, come on, man. Like, please don't ruin this. Like, I think I really want Craven to be good. But Morbius has some really decent trailers. Like with some of the echo sounds and things. I was like, okay, but they're exactly what they're doing. They're trailers. They're supposed to get you hype for a movie that's not going to be good. And it's crazy to me. And it's just like, damn, Jared Leto is just snowballing at this point. Like
Yeah,
it's
man.
getting bad.
Brian, I'm with you. Like, I want to like this movie. I like Jared Leto as an actor. Actually think that Morbius is a really good fit as a comic book character. I think, and I'll bring up another reaction here real quick. So this one says Leto is good, despite his more wacky antics as a person. He is a committed performer that actually suits the role quite well. So I think, at least I'm going in knowing that he's going to be good as Michael Morbius. Unfortunately, the writing surrounding him is not good, which we knew would be the case because,
Because it's
again,
Sony.
Sony. Like, they cannot be trusted. Raimi's Spider-Man 2, still one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. I think The Amazing Spider-Man is a really good Spider-Man movie. Andrew Garfield is amazing. Obviously, his chemistry with um
Gwen
Emma
Stacy.
Stone,
Emma Stone.
and yeah, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, amazing. But it's like Spider-Man 1 is just okay. Spider-Man 3 is dog shit. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, not terrible, but not a good movie.
Yeah.
And then Venom, first 45 minutes, unwatchable. And then Venom Let There Be Carnage, it's fun, but it's not a movie that you're going to rewatch at any point in your life. You'll go on YouTube, you'll find all the Carnage clips, and that's how you'll consume the movie. No one is ever going to really watch this movie over and over again. So it's like their track record has proven that they just cannot be trusted with these Marvel properties. And Sony, I'm talking to you directly. Hire me. The people that you have over your Marvel department are incompetent. They're either lazy or incompetent. Either one of these options are terrible. So fire them all, hire me, and I will make you good Marvel movies. I promise you. Hire me. Fire your entire Marvel department because they're terrible, and hire me. Thanks.
It's just like I said, it's disappointing, especially because like the eco sound thing that happens during the trailer looks really good. Jared Leto in makeup looks really good as more like there's a lot of things that make you think, oh, I'm going to give this movie a chance. And now, if you didn't show me these reviews and stuff, I probably would have been there first day. But now I'm just like, now I got to sit it out. I got to sit it out at least for 2 weeks, just because like I need to hear everyone say it's bad before I just decide to just go in. But I mean, like we said, we always thought like, oh, it's Sony. You can't really trust it. And you don't, and we don't know if that vulture scene, that must be deleted scenes, I'm assuming, or the end credits.
It's an end credit scene, bro. It's
So
an end credit scene.
you put an end credit scene in your trailer. That's
See,
terrible.
that's the thing, though. It was supposed to be in the movie, and then they were like, nah, end credit scene.
And it's like you've had how many times have they pushed this movie back? 6 years? Like it feels like it's been forever. You
Yeah, it
had plenty
was,
of
I
time to get it
believe
right.
Morbius was announced in August 2020, and then, yeah, it's just been constantly delayed over and over again.
You had so many opportunities to get it right. And that's the problem. Like nobody was there in their ear, like, nah, this is not working. So you're right. They're incompetent or they're lazy. This movie probably been ready since September 2020. And they just were like, they did 1 month of shooting and they were like, this is it. This is the movie. And they just been holding on to it, pushing it back for no reason.
And I mean, I get it, right? As a businessman, I get it. Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse is extremely lucrative. It just prints fucking money. Look at what happens when it's actually done well, right? We got the Tom Holland trilogy that was literally an origin story for this version of Spider-Man, right? These movies, Spider-Man No Way Home is the sixth highest grossing film in history worldwide. Sony could not pull that off on their own, right? Because their creative department are talentless. So, everyone in chat, I appreciate the confidence. And Sony, I'm telling you, please hire me. I will make you money with these movies. Mercenarian, you're so right. They will not concede defeat. They will not. Because this Spider-Verse is just worth too much fucking money. Now, they did do a really good job with Into the Spider-Verse. I have to give them credit. Into the Spider-Verse is incredible. It's one of the greatest comic book movies, live action animated, period. So I have to give them credit. And Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and Part 2, if it's even remotely as good, we're in for a treat, right? So it's just like, what's the problem with the live action movies? They're not trying. These scripts are pathetic. Dude, just from the trailers, I could write the script and it will play out exactly as I wrote it. I shit you not. They're just so lazy.
I mean, and so the problem is, it's just like if you sell the rights back to Disney or whatever, you can get a huge amount of money, and you probably make more money than what you're losing because you spending all this money on Morbius, and then you're going to lose the money at the box office. So you're losing money. So I think you would make more money just selling it to Disney at this point. But like you said, Spider-Verse, that's their hit. So they're just like, we're gonna give these two a try, and if they don't strike out, we'll just stick with Spider-Verse and make animated movies. And if they do animated movies, maybe that'll work out for them. Who knows?
They'll never stop making live action movies, though. They'll never stop. Like, there's just too much money. There's just too much money in it.
What else can you do with Spider-Man? If you're gonna give the actual Spider-Man to Disney, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna keep doing villains out of the Spider-Verse?
I don't know.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think there's enough. It's not like how, to me, it's not like Batman, where I feel like Batman, they can find endless of different routes to go. What can you do with Spider-Man? You're gonna make an Uncle Ben movie? Like, what are you gonna do?
The Uncle Ben prequel. Oh my god.
Like, what are you gonna do? He meets Aunt May and they live happily ever after for a little while. And
I just want to read like just one more of these reactions because this was my perfect, like, this was the perfect like fuck you to Sony. Like, I love it so much. Morbius proves that no matter how many famous faces or shiny visuals you squeeze in, Sony will always find a way to impressively misunderstand basic storytelling. This is the greatest tweet about Sony and their Marvel movies ever. It's short, sweet, to the point. It doesn't matter. Dude, Sony movies are always pretty. One thing you can always be guaranteed is that a Sony movie is going to be fucking pretty. All the VFX is going to be awesome, which I've actually heard the VFX are terrible in this movie. But you usually go into a Sony movie knowing that the VFX at least are going to be awesome. But it doesn't even do that. It's ridiculous. Like they were saying, basic storytelling. Like, I don't get it, man. It's just lazy. It's just the lazy.
I'm afraid. Like I'm really afraid for Craven, the Craven movie at this point. And I was super hyped for this. And now I'm like, I don't know.
Because, I
I
mean,
don't know.
it's not fair to Aaron Taylor Johnson, right? It's not fair to him because he's a really good actor and
Mhm.
Craven is a perfect fit for him. But Sony is going to give him the laziest, shittiest script ever. So I forgot to bring up this other tweet, but Matt Smith was doing an interview. Who's playing the villain in this movie? Who I've heard like he's chewing the fucking scenery in this movie, which is fine. But he said in an interview, even to this point, he doesn't really understand his character in the movie.
That's
Now,
not good.
no, it's not.
That's not good.
What do you mean? He's like, he literally said, I mean, even when I was reading the script, even to now, I still don't really get it. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't get it? Like, you read the script, you filmed it. Like, what do you mean?
Don't get who you're playing. And and to me, I'm wondering who the villain is in this Morbius movie.
Oh, it's him.
I know, but it's him. But who is he
Oh,
playing?
sorry. His name is Hunger. He's a vampire.
Okay. Because I was wondering, I was all like, "What? Who
Sorry,
is he
yeah, he
playing?"
much like Thawne and his insatiable thirst for speed, hunger. He just wants more and more and more and more blood.
Okay,
Right? So just think of the most generic version of that, and that's probably what we're gonna get in
a
Morbius.
vampire that just eats people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not excited for this at all no more.
Brian, I will put money into that Kickstarter if I could get Nicolas Cage's Dracula versus Morbius in like a crossover. Ooh, no. Nick Cage's Dracula, Jared Leto's Morbius versus Mahershala Ali's Blade, and Kit Harington's Black Knight. There's the movie right there.
Give me Eddie Murphy's Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yo, he was really good in that movie though.
he was. He was. But yeah.
Jerry curls and all. We're just gonna act like it's not 2022.
It would be great.
Yeah, man. But any other thoughts on Morbius? I think we've ripped it to shreds. We will be reviewing the movie
Oh
whenever,
man.
because I'm seeing it April 3rd. So as soon as I see it, you guys will get my social media reaction, and we will talk about it on Villains.
Dang, if it comes out on the first and you're seeing it on the third, I guess I need to buy my ticket, I guess. I'm buying it at the Majestic. I'm not spending my Cinemark money on this. If it's as bad as it is, I'm going to the Majestic. I'm spending my little $8 and going over there rather than spend big bucks.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. But let's move on to our next news topic. So, Misha Collins from Supernatural, who plays Castiel in Supernatural, is going to be playing Harvey Dent in the Gotham Knights CW series. I am very, very excited for this. Misha Collins is a really good actor, in my opinion. I think him as Castiel is
Was
great,
really good.
and him playing like these dual roles as Harvey Dent and Two-Face, I think I think it's perfect casting. But much like Sony, it's on the CW, so I'm scared.
So with this, I think it fits for him, especially because with Castiel, he's basically playing two different roles. He's playing Castiel and he's playing the actual person's body that he's taking over. So he's done the multiple personalities in a sense. So to see it as Two Face or Harvey Dent, because we don't, is he gonna turn into Two Face or he's gonna be Harvey Dent the entire time, or how's it gonna work out? But I'm excited to see that because even if he doesn't necessarily take the mantle as Two Face, those personalities are still there before he even actually quote unquote has the chemical burn or whatever they decide to do for his face. So the multiple personality disorder is actually still there. So I can see him flipping and back and forth and everything like that. But uh much to your point, it's the CW. And that's the issue. The bigger issue is because it's the CW. But they did good with Supernatural in the golden days. Hopefully it'll pan out. I mean, a lot of the Flash was pretty good for me. I didn't enjoy Black Lightning. I didn't enjoy a lot of those other DC shows, but who knows? I mean, it's Batman, it's the Batman verse. A lot of those things pretty much turn out to be at least decent. So hopefully it'll at least be decent.
Yeah, I mean that's really all we can hope. We do know that the CW is really good at doing like first seasons, right? Arrow
Mhm.
season 1, fire. Flash season 1, fire. The only season 1 that I didn't really like was Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow. I think Legends of Tomorrow actually gets better once the seasons go on. I actually don't really like Legends season 1 that much. But yeah, man, like in the hands of the CW, who knows? Like this Gotham Knights series has a lot of potential. I mean, with Batman being dead, there's so much potential for like all of the different like villains in Gotham literally coming in to ruin everything. You could have villains from Bloodhaven and other places that fled Gotham because of the Batman coming back to get some of that territory, and then the Gotham Knights have to step up. The Batman family has to step up in order to protect Gotham. You know, the
Mhm.
the place where essentially their dad, sacrificed his life to take care of this place. So it has a lot of great potential, but CW, man, like I'm very afraid of. Well, they all have to be in complicated relationships.
Mhm.
We have to have episodes dedicated to their love interests. Even though someone's getting mugged in an alley, they have to have sex and like argue. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, guys? Come
Can
on.
we just assume that they're having sex off screen? That like you could just do that off screen. Like that they're going to do it or whatever. It's like bodily function at this point. It would be like the equivalent of me having to watch them take a piss. Like, why? I know that they do it. They're human. So I know that they have sex and do other stuff. They're human. So why do we need to see that when we know that the show is about Gotham, which is the stuff that we want to see? We want to see the lure of the city and how the gangsters and how they stop crime and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where it's like it's pointless because it doesn't drive the story forward. A sex scene doesn't drive a story forward. There's no reason. And then with it probably being CW, it'll be 24 episodes. So we'll get to see them have sex 3 or 4 times. And it's like the first time we got it. Now we know that when you guys are kissing and you're like doing a backdrop, they're gonna have sex. Just go to the next scene. No reason for us to see it, but they'll do it. Of course they will.
It's just I don't know, man. I'm excited but not excited at the same time. What are you gonna do? Sherwin, I don't think it's too soon because I think you can show like different perspectives of Gotham from different people. Like Gotham was really cool getting to see it from Jim Gordon's perspective and how he interacted with Bruce Wayne and how he coming into Gotham dealing with like corrupt cops and all of the other things going on. That was really really cool. This upcoming Arkham series that's also going to explore more of Gordon, but it's going to take place with more of like the criminals within Arkham and how that all works and everything that we find out in the Batman. Who knows what can happen to Arkham Asylum as a facility, right? So I mean, there's a lot of great ways that you can go to tell a story about Gotham, and with Gotham Knights, like getting to see the perspective of Gotham, especially to this level of crime with all of the Bat family, getting to see it from like their perspective, like Barbara's perspective, all of their different perspectives. I think it's going to be really really interesting. Now, if they keep trying to do it, then we're running out of stuff to do. But these three, like, I think they're pretty good
They got
in
Pennyworth
concept.
coming out. They got Pennyworth coming out as well. So that's just to me, like you said, there's so many other stories. I'm almost tired of the Gotham lore, even though Batman is really, really good, like the whole overall story, but it's like they're milking that Gotham lore when there's so many other characters in the DC universe that you can even decide to do, not only decide to do, but you can do side characters out of their story. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't have to necessarily do Batman and then do Alfred and then do Batgirl and then do Jim Gordon. It's like, dude, y'all are really milking that when you have so many other properties in DC that you could use. So that's just my thing. maybe I feel like I'm overdoing it. I mean, I'm just saying it too much, but I mean, I feel like Batman is their bread and butter, which is cool, but you have other properties that you can develop and then you can make those more popular by giving them a good series.
I agree. And I also think that there's a space to do both, right? Because I mean, it doesn't all have to be in Gotham. You could, if they wanted to, they could make a Nightwing series that takes place in Bloodhaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
completely separated from Gotham. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that's his territory. That's what he protects. So it would be really interesting if they did something like that. Now, to answer your question, Sherwin, which one I would pick, I'm actually more interested in the Arkham series simply because of the universe that Matt Reeves has set up. I am way more interested in watching Jim Gordon investigating things that are going on at Arkham. There could be a prison break. Who knows? That's what I'm more interested in. Gotham Knights could be really cool, but because it's the CW, I don't have faith that the script is going to be that interesting if I'm being honest. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think when it starts, it'll be really really cool, but if they keep trying to make more and more seasons, we're going to get to a point where it's just boring. So yeah, I'm way more interested in the Arkham series. So that's what I would pick. Steve, what about you?
I would do Arkham as well, just because there are so many different people that are in Arkham that we don't get to see that often. You can still get to see the ventriloquist. I can't remember his name, Adam Westler, and his ventriloquist doll, and then you can see what's my guy's name with all the scars on his face? Damn it.
Victor Zsasz.
That Victor's ass. So you can see Victor's ass. There's other characters in Arkham that are smaller characters or smaller players that you would like to, you know what I'm saying, that you would say, but they're not going to pop up on the big screen. But we'll get to see good adaptations of them in Arkham. And I feel like that would be better. There's different ways you can do Hugo Strange. You can bring different people in there. Whereas if you do Gotham Knights, it's more so it's going to focus around the Bat family, which is cool. But then, like you said, they're going to have to show that dynamic of relationships and stuff like that. Where in Arkham, I don't think that they're going to too much touch on relationships and things that are, saying more fluff to the story.
Yeah, nah,
And
it's an HBO Max series in Matt Reeves' world. They're definitely not doing that shit.
yeah, it's just like it's a lot of fluff that's going to be in Gotham than there will be in the Arkham series.
Yeah. I'm very interested in both, but we'll see how it goes. And like you just brought up, Steve, what I think would be really, really interesting for the Arkham series if the main antagonist is Hugo Strange. I think that would be really, really cool. Introducing him into the universe, have him running Arkham, and like the just furthering the corruption within Gotham, having
Mm-hmm.
someone like Hugo Strange sullying the name of the Arkhams. I think that would fit perfectly. I hope that's the direction that Matt Reeves is going in. And he seems like the type of guy that would do something like that. And it'll be cool to see who else is already in Arkham. You know what I
That's
mean?
what I'm saying.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to talk about the Joker deleted scene, but it's like, who else did Batman catch in year one? Who else was just already in Arkham that may escape later on? You know?
And the fact that he caught Joker in year one is like, it's
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy.
it's like, whoa, okay. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's Joker's early years or whatever as well. So that could be why he was caught
Brian,
early
that
on.
would be very, very interesting if someone from Arkham like became like a known villain out on the streets and like what that would mean like politically for Arkham as a facility. That would be huge. That would be
Mhm.
huge. That's something that would get the mayor involved. The new mayor. I hope she shows up on the series because that's important too. She has to be involved in these things. That'll be very interesting.
Mhm. So the Arkham series is the Penguin show that we're getting, right? Or is that a totally different show?
Totally different show, yeah. Yeah, so Penguin is its
Oh.
own thing, and then we're getting what was supposed to be like a Jim Gordon like Gotham PD series, but it's
Mhm.
now transitioned into more of an Arkham series. So we're getting both. It's gonna be nuts. So from Penguin's perspective, we're gonna get um like that Kingpin like rise to power Scarface type shit. So
Mhm.
that's how Colin Farrell described it when him and Matt Reeves were talking about it. It's gonna be like Scarface and like watching penguins rise to power within Gotham. So that's gonna be sick. Like, what I'm interested in too is how the shows are going to interconnect. Like, will Pattinson show up? I mean, you would have to assume that at some point, like, we could like see him like drop off a criminal at Arkham or some shit, or something that the Penguin's doing. The detective is always on the street, so it's like it would be weird if he's not present, right? So I'm interested to see how they're gonna handle that part.
I am interested. I would think that if you do Patterson, maybe an episode or two, or if you just do like a silhouette, a Batman silhouette kind of thing or whatever. Somebody does something and there's a figure, that a shadow that's creeping up, you know what I'm saying, as you're doing, like you're breaking into a car or something, the shadow creeps up. You get the off-screen scream, and then next thing you know, he's hanging upside down. So you're like, oh, okay, so that was Batman. So they may do that route as well. But yeah, I'm excited just to see it in general, just because it's Matt Reeves, and it's going to be based in that same universe. So I'm excited to see how that's going to go. I'm excited. I'm also wondering if we're gonna. It's like if they're gonna let him build a Batman universe, and they're still trying to build a DC universe as well on the side. It really feels like somehow they're going to try to tie that in together.
I
But
mean, I think they figured out that their place is just to multiverse. All of these different movies all take place in their own universe, but they're all connected in the same multiverse. I think they finally like figured out that this is what we need to do, and the Flash can be like the pin in all of these different universes because he can travel to any one of them. So it's like he can be the connecting piece that's like, oh yeah, it's cool that Flash showed up here. So I actually like that they're stepping away from the MCU route, and it's like we're just gonna do our own shit. There's a Joker universe over here. There's a Batman universe over here with its own Joker, with its own Rogues Gallery. There's a DCEU that we're going in a different direction. Like, I like it. Like, just keep it that way. Stop trying to interconnect shit. Just don't.
they're not doing a good job at it. That to me, they're just not.
Rob, what's good, bro?
Whatever. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. That I don't feel like they're doing a good job of connecting some of these. So just stop. Like they don't have a good direction with what they're trying to do sometimes. And like I said, I said a couple of weeks ago, the fact that they're bringing Blue Beetle in so early without a Teen Titans or anything, is just crazy to me.
That is
So
weird, yeah.
that is just really crazy. But yeah, I just feel like you're right. Just make them all separate universe. If you want to tie certain ones together, cool. But
But you
it's
know
just
why they're doing Blue Beetle so early.
representation, that money grab. Yeah, it's like,
Diversity.
yeah, we're giving you diversity. We're giving you that. Yeah. So it's weird. And then with Black Adam, like you're giving us Dr. Fate. So I'm assuming that's gonna have to be in that universe with the Flash and Justice League, but you just
Dude,
never
who
know.
knows, man?
You just
Who
never
knows?
you don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, man. Who the fuck knows? But continuing down the rabbit hole of DC news, so Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been delayed to spring 2023. This game has been delayed, what, 4 times now?
Okay.
I think something like that.
Okay.
Maybe three or 4 times. Chat, you guys can correct me if you know. But they came out with an official statement. We've made the difficult decision to delay Cyberpunk. We've made a difficult decision to delay Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League to spring 2023. I know the delays are frustrating, but at this time, going into making the game the best that it can be, yada yada yada. So it's like, I'm good with that. Take your time, yes, as long as the game is completely playable. See, I'm already thinking about Cyberpunk because it took me a year to even buy the game because I'm like, if it's this glitchy, I'll just fucking wait. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, as long as it's good when it drops, delay it. I'm fine. Yep. I'll wait as long as it's good, because I will never underestimate a game ever again. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy was like this dumb cash grab. I didn't think it was going to be interesting. It's one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. It's one of the best, like, and it won best narrative at the Game Awards, and it deserves it because the story is absolutely fucking incredible. So I'm not judging anything until I play it. Until I see gameplay, I'm open. So I'm
I,
actually excited for this.
I agree. Like, take your time. If it's not ready, do not drop it because Cyberpunk now that I've been playing it for like the last 2 weeks. It's great. But it's like they missed so hard on that initial release that forever is going to be too many people that's talking about that game was a flop and this and that. And now everybody is playing it now. We're like, we love the game, we enjoy it, but initial release is everything with people. And there, so many people turned in their game and they're never going to play it again, no matter how much they upgrade it and fix it and get all the bugs out. People are always going to say Cyberpunk was a flop. And so you don't want to go that route. Just push it back as many times as you need to until you get it right. Please do not fall for the fans and everybody saying, man, you guys pushed it back too hard, too far. Just go ahead and drop it and we'll be okay with it. No, you won't, because you
Nah.
guys ripped Cyberpunk apart. Like, you ripped it apart. And Cyberpunk has been great. Like, I've been playing it right now and it's been amazing. The story mode, I'm loving the whole approach of Johnny Silverhand. I love the fact that you can just see him in the corner and stuff like that, just jumping in conversations and stuff like that. So, and it's great, but it's like people that have already heard how bad and disastrous it was. They don't care. They don't care that it was only $20 like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I
I'm like,
mean,
no,
despite that, the numbers have been pretty good in terms of sales.
really. So it's going back up then.
Yeah, it's the numbers have been pretty good. Yeah.
That, and I'm just hoping that it continues because it deserves it. Like, it's a really good game. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, that's another game that I think is one of the best games I've ever played cuz I like cyberpunk stuff. I like dystopian like well, it's not really a dystopian future, but I like weird like futuristic shit like
Mm.
that. Like I love all of the weapons. I love futuristic tech. I'm probably one of 5 people that actually like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare because
Mm.
I like the futuristic tech. I think all of that stuff is really really cool, and I'm the type of person I like open world games. I like being able to I'll just drive around for hours, and if I find someone that I want to shoot in the face, I'll get out of my car, shoot them in the face, get back in, drive around. Like I've been to the dumps and just walking around, see what kind of shit I can find. Like that's the kind of
Mm.
gamer that I am, and there's shit everywhere in Cyberpunk. Like that game was made for people that like to explore, and I
Mm.
fucking love it. Now, Breezy, I'm with you. Now, the fact that we haven't seen any other gameplay footage besides that initial trailer from Fandom is very concerning. It's like,
Yeah.
so yeah, you delayed it. Can we get some more story footage? Like, we have seen like a trailer, you know what I mean? But can we get some more like story beats as to like what happened to the Justice League? Like, give us something, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen the game mechanics, they do look interesting, but what the fuck is it about? Why should I care about the Suicide Squad going up against the Justice League? Besides, it is what it is. And Rob, don't worry. I'm definitely gonna do a GTA stream maybe this weekend. Who knows? Next week is my birthday week. I'm gonna be off for like 8 days. I'm definitely gonna be streaming GTA and Cyberpunk too, and Arkham Knight because I've been playing Arkham Knight a lot recently.
Mm. Yeah. I've been playing Cyberpunk a lot. I was gonna like finish the game and then do a replay as a stream because I want to get the game mechanics down before I go on screen and embarrass myself.
If you
So,
need tips, bro, I got you.
that-
All right, so let's move on to our next news topic. So it was announced, I believe, like a week and a half ago, but we didn't get to talk about it. But a Riddler comic is in the works at DC Comics, and it's going to be written by Paul Dano. This is incredible. This comic
Mhm.
is going to take place in the Batman universe, obviously, and it's going to be called Riddler Year One. This is really, really interesting. Paul Dano is a very, very interesting character. I think he is a brilliant Riddler, and to know that he's going to be writing a Riddler Year One comic is going to be very, very interesting because we know of his troubled past. We can see from the Batman how similar he is to Bruce Wayne, right? And he had a much darker childhood. Because, yes, Bruce also didn't have his parents, but he also grew up in a giant fucking penthouse
Mansion.
overlooking everyone, looking down on everyone. So their experiences are not the same. So to see Riddler's perspective and watching him, the moment where he feels helpless to the moment where he puts the mask on for the first time and becomes the Riddler, the confident person that he is when he's in that mask. Very, very interested. It's going to be, I'm so excited for this. What about you?
I am as well, because and then the fact that it's written by Paul Dano, the person that plays the Riddler, so he's got a better understanding, and he probably is a fan. You know what I'm saying? Just looking at Paul Dano, I assume that he's a fan of the Batman series. So the fact that he's going and taking the time to write a Riddler origin story really says something.
Yeah, so funny story. So in an interview, he was like, don't quote me, but I believe he said he was actually more of a Marvel guy. But
Mhm.
after like reading Matt Reeves' script, he just started picking up every Batman comic he could possibly fucking find, starting with like Long Halloween Year One, and he just went like crazy down a rabbit hole. Because like when you listen to him talk in interviews, like his comic knowledge on Batman is insane. So it's
Mhm.
like he knows what he's talking about, and he will be able to write an incredible comic. Now I'm very curious to see who like the artist is gonna be. I'm very very excited for this Riddler Year One comic. Very excited.
Facts. Not gonna lie, I'm excited because just the fact that there's somebody that's got a really good understanding of the Riddler that played him on screen, and he's writing the script. That says something to me.
Yeah, very very excited for that. I can't wait for it to drop. Can't wait to read it. It's going to be interesting for sure. So keeping with the Batman news, the Batman at this point has already made $609.3 million at the box office. Like this is
You owe
even
Robert Pattinson an apology, everyone. Everyone that said that they
speak
didn't
on
think
it.
you owe him an apology. Like there's so many people that was counting him out, and he's great.
Yeah, he's an incredible Batman, and I'm glad to see that it's successful. Like, when it first came out, I was thinking even like we're not fully out of the weeds with COVID and everything, so it's like I'm thinking this movie is gonna tap out at like 710, 720 around there because it
Mhm.
is going to be on HBO Max in like 2.5 weeks,
Yeah.
right? So I think people that do want to see it in theaters will go out to see it before it leaves. But yeah,
Mhm.
I think around like 710 million, maybe that might be a stretch because that's like $100 more million. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping it can just cross 700. But what about you? Do you think it has a chance to cross 700 million?
I'm looking at 670, 680. That's the range I'm going at. Because I think at this point, it's going to be more of us that want to see the movie again. And they don't want to wait for HBO Max. But people that haven't seen it yet, they're not real Batman fans. So they feel like they can wait 2 more weeks. I don't think they're going to just be up and getting up and just going to go see the movie.
Yeah,
So
like
I'm thinking 670, 680. It'll be a lot of rewatches that go and see Batman again.
yeah, I've seen it 5 times. I wanted to go for a sixth time, but it's not in Dolby anymore, and I refuse to watch it in standard. So I'll just I'll just wait for it to drop
But
on HBO Max.
that trailer might be something that they strategically dropped for people to go see it to give them that extra 2 week push. That could be a strategic move that they did.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And on that note, let's get into our final and main topic of tonight's show. And it's going to be our thoughts on the Joker deleted scene from the Batman. Now, Matt Reeves talked about this scene and its existence in an interview. And he talked about the fact that this was going to be on the Blu ray. Now, to see it being released this early, to your point, Steve, it could be a great marketing push. Hey,
Mhm.
go, if you haven't seen it yet, go fucking see it. And if you have seen it, now that you've seen this deleted scene, look at how it could play into the context within the film. So it's like, let's get into the deleted scene itself. So if you guys haven't seen the deleted scene, we're going to be going into spoiler territory for that scene, but it doesn't really spoil anything for the movie itself. So the scene starts with Batman going to Arkham to talk to the Joker in order to get his perspective on a serial killer that is the Riddler, right? And I think Barry Keoghan, I think Keoghan is how his name is pronounced, I think. He does an incredible job just from this 5-minute clip. I've seen it 15 times now. I'm just watching it over and over, and it's the small ticks, it's the looks, the glances, right? Like one of the first things that he says once he starts talking to the Batman is, "Oh, a present. Almost our anniversary, isn't it?" So it's just like from that 5-minute clip, we instantly get like a peek into that relationship, like Joker's obsessive nature over the Batman, just like that weird like love that he has for the Batman, the anniversary, you brought me a gift, right? And then I also love that this scene does a really good job of showing that the Joker also is pretty intelligent. Like, he's a pretty good profiler. He was able to look at this file real quick and is like instantly deduced, oh, this guy's just like you. Like, he is a masked Avenger who was orphaned, left, and this is him fighting back. Yep. You are just the same instantly, just from reading that file. So, Steve, let me get your thoughts on it.
So I loved the scene in general. That his makeup was great. It's just because it's the different take on, like you said, the different universes, multiverse or whatever. This Joker fell in a vat of acid, and you can see it all in his face, the back of his head. He fell in a vat of, and this is like what you would look like if you fell into a vat of acid. And I love that. I also love the fact that he's taking bits and pieces of different Jokers when he studied this role. You can tell, because even when he's talking, he does the Heath Ledger, like kind of like, I'll do it. He's like, so you, and he does that little smack with his lips, like, yeah, you've kind of decided that. And it's like, you can hear it in his voice, the dialect. And I'm like, okay, so he's got that Heath Ledger thing going with the mouth clicks and everything like that. Only thing that I didn't too much love, but you said it grew on you, was the laugh. I didn't care for it, but at the same time, seeing this scene, before this scene, I was like, I don't want to see another Joker. I don't want to see it. I'm tired of it. Focus on some other Batman villain. And then seeing the scene, you're like, damn, he was fucking really good. And you're like, now I kind of want to see if he's going to be a good Joker. But at the same time, it's like, no, I want to see other villains in the rogue gallery.
And that's why Matt Reeves said that he's not going to use Joker for, not in these next 2 movies, if he gets to a trilogy. He already said he's not using Joker. Joker's already in Arkham. And just back to that, like, his performance, Barry Keoghan's performance is so fucking good. Again, just in those 5 minutes, he just comes off so creepy. And like you said, like, just like the prosthetics, like, you can tell this guy fell in a vat of acid, and this is the guy that's also been on the wrong end of Bats' fist, because his teeth are fucked. His teeth and his mouth are fucked up. Like, Bats definitely beat the shit out of him. I love that, like, he has patches of hair missing. I love that his face is all wrinkled and fucked up. Like, he looks so creepy, and I love that the cadence that Barry Keoghan uses for the Joker. And you can tell, again, just from this 5-minute scene, that he knows exactly how to get under Batman's skin. He's talking about, are you afraid that he makes you look a little soft? Like, when he's talking about, like, the fact that you are literally the same person. You know exactly the kind of guy that he is. You didn't come here, you didn't come here for me to, like, you just wanted me to tell you what you wanted to hear. But you guys are exactly the same. And he's like, I love that he's able to pick apart Batman. He's like, I think that you're terrified that the Riddler isn't wrong. I
Mm-hmm.
think that you're terrified that they deserved it. And then he just fucking laughs, and you can just see, just from the way that the Batman walks away, that the Joker was spot on. And
Mm-hmm.
instantly, again, in that moment, you can see the relationship. You can tell that they've been back and forth a few times, and
Mm-hmm.
the Joker is able to read the Batman, which is incredible from 5 minutes, dude.
Yeah. It it's so crazy that that was only 5 minute scene because it's like I do want to see it, but it's just why did you do that? Why did you give us that? Because now there's going to be millions of fans that want to see that, and you might get pressured into giving us the Joker in the next movie when there's
Nah.
so many more characters in that rogue gallery. But he was really fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. Like I really want a different villain. I want a different rogue gallery of different villains,
And
and
we
I
will.
want to see. Yeah, but it's just he was fucking good, and it feels like we deserve that. But it's like no, just don't. I don't
I,
even. I don't like the fact that they even tease that like that.
Really? You know you're not the only one that thinks that, right? And you're not wrong for feeling that way at all. But it works for me because it just adds more, like, for lack of a better term, like validity to his, like, year one. The fact that he had to go up against the Joker year one, first year on the job, you had to go up against someone like Joker, and he's now in Arkham. So it's like, to know that Joker's in Arkham, who else, like we talked about before, who else is in Arkham? It also, it just, again, it adds history to Arkham itself as a character, and it adds history to the Batman, because again, he had to go up against Joker year one. So I like that Matt Reeves just said, hey, the Joker exists, Bat's already caught him, he's in Arkham, and we are going to get other villains. He wants to do like Mr. Freeze. I think Court of Owls would be amazing from where they took out from where they started in the Batman. I think that would be the logical next step, to do something within the Court of Owls. You could do a lot of crazy shit in there. So that's the way I hope that they go. But I love the fact that they just gave us a tease that the Joker does exist in this universe. They've already met, and it doesn't mean that it's over, right? Just from that scene with him and Riddler, he said that everyone loves a comeback. It could happen at some point later on in the universe, but it's not going to happen right now. And like you, Brian, I loved the laugh. I didn't like it at first. The first time I heard it, I was like, okay, okay. And then like the second time I heard it in theaters, I'm like, all right, it's growing on me, it's growing on me. And then the more and more that I watch this deleted scene, I'm like, it's really really creepy. That's what it is. Like, his laugh is really really weird, and it's creepy, and that's what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine being on the streets with this guy dressed in a purple suit with that fucked up face, and he's beating you to death with a crowbar and just laughing like that? It's really haunting. And for
Mm-hmm.
Matt Reeves's universe, it's a crime thriller horror movie, right? Like, this entire universe is just horror. So for this Joker, it makes sense. He perfectly fits, dude.
Mm. And that's the thing. So it's just like with that laugh, because it's his own Joker. And that's the thing that I think that we've been spoiled with so many Jokers that we're at a point where we're like, he was really good, but his laugh. And it's like that doesn't matter. His laugh shouldn't matter as far as acting. But for some reason, we're critiquing it because we've seen so many Jokers, and that's the reason why I would like to see a different villain just
And
because of
let's
that.
let's
Mm,
be honest, right? Like, Mark Hamill has the best Joker laugh, period. It's hard to
yeah.
top that, right? Like, I mean, Troy Baker does a really good job. But
Mm,
it's hard to
Mark
top
Hamill is
Mark
just
Hamill,
yeah.
dude. Like, so
Yeah.
the laugh is iconic.
It's just I wouldn't even be mad. And I've said this before, and I don't know if it'll work, but if they could like kind of like not necessarily how they did Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian and freaking Boba Fett, but if they could somehow make it so Mark Hamill is the Joker in a live action, I would love that. Like I would just be like, all right, you can give us the Joker now because I would love to see him play the Joker in a movie, but it's just he's older, he's not going to be skinny and super scrawny like
I
The
mean,
Joker.
he could play Joker in like a Kingdom Come era because they did Kevin Conroy as Kingdom Come Batman on the CW. So it's
Facts.
like
That is
you
true.
could, and
Mhm.
with CGI, I mean, the CW doesn't have the budget, but with CGI, you could make him look a little bit slimmer.
And I wouldn't be mad at that. Put him in a Gertie and see what happens,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be mad. I would love to see that, but I don't think that they'd ever do that because it would be unfair to anybody else that ever wants to play the Joker to me. If you make Mark Hamill in a live action Joker, it's just like you can't top it then after that because he'd be too fucking good.
Yeah, man. Like the Batman universe is shaping up to be something truly, truly incredible. We've already gotten the Batman movie, which is year 2. We're getting Riddler year 1 comic. We're getting a Penguin TV series on HBO Max. We're getting an Arkham series. We're going to get the Batman 2. Like this is what I want. Like I love that this is in its own like pocket universe, and I
Mhm.
love what Matt Reeves is building, and I don't want to see anything else from anywhere else come into this. Like someone made a tweet. It's like, "Oh, we got 3 Spider-Men, give us 3 Batmen." And they wanted our Pats in with like Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck. I'm like, "Nope, stop. Stop it."
Stop it. It's just it's
Nope.
at a point. It's comparison, and everybody wants to monkey see, monkey do stuff. And it's like you're not a writer for a reason. Like you're a fan, enjoy being a fan. Like because no, I just don't want
Yeah, nah.
it.
But yeah, man, like I think we went through a lot of really really great news topics today. Like what was your favorite news that we talked about on this episode?
So for me, my favorite news would probably be the Nova fan casting because it's fun and I don't know much about Nova. So I think that would be probably one of my favorite. And then the one we just touched on, just the Joker trailer itself. Um, because much to what I said, I do want them to explore a different road gallery, but he did a fucking good job. Like he really did a real good job.
Yeah, and before we wrap, I do like that they cut the scene because it's essentially 2 scenes with him talking to someone behind a glass in Arkham, and with a film that's already 3 hours long, I get why they cut it, right? Like it made perfect sense why they cut it, and that's why Blu-rays exist. That's why when it's on digital, like you can watch the deleted scenes, the special features. I definitely get why. It's only 5 minutes, but I get why they cut it. Like it just makes more sense for it to not be in there, and it also just helps like control more of the Batman detective narrative, and it keeps it within like him and Gordon. Like one of the things that we talked about that we liked the most about the Batman is the fact that it was Gordon and the Batman the whole time. They were working everything together, right? So that Joker scene slightly, takes away from that. So for multiple reasons, I'm glad it was cut.
Facts. What was
Yeah.
your favorite?
My favorite was the Joker deleted scene, man. Like I love the dynamic between Joker and Bats because that's another flip side to the same coin. Batman is just one bad day from becoming that guy, right? And that's why he keeps pushing forward because he knows that one bad day could lead me to being that guy. So, yeah. That
And
was definitely my favorite, and then the Nova fan casting.
I enjoy slandering Morbius a little bit too.
Yeah, that's true. I love talking shit about Morbius.
That's fun a
More
little bit.
Sony than Morbius.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
Both. Both.
One of these days, I'm just going to make a podcast just talking shit about WB, Sony, and what used to be Fox and all of their terrible decisions when it comes to comic book movies.
Jesus Christ.
That'll be pretty
Especially
fun.
Fox. Oh my God.
Right? Rob, I did not know that the director spoiled it on Twitter. Now I have to go find it because I like spoilers. So if you can find it, DM me because I want to see that. Because I mean, I think I
Wow.
already know what's gonna happen anyway. But yeah, I mean, just tell me. But yeah, bro, I'm very excited for Moon Knight. We wanted to do we just wanted to do a chilled show this week. There was a bunch of movie news that we wanted to talk about, and next week, we'll be doing weekly reviews of Moon Knight. Can't wait to see episode 1. Oscar Isaac is one of my favorite actors ever, so to see him like in this role, taking on DID and bringing the hero Moon Knight to life. Can't fucking wait.
Yep. I'm so excited. Just after this 2016 run we read, and then I read the current run, I'm like, okay, Moon Knight's gonna be really solid. And I'm excited to see how they're gonna do it because of the way that 2016 run is. It's like, man, if they add even just a few of those alternate things that they got going on, that production is gonna be crazy. Just to see how they're gonna flash it. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, man. Very, very excited for Moon Knight. I can't wait to talk about it. And once we're done with the Moon Knight series, like I mentioned before, we're going to be talking about the Moon Knight 2016 run, which is arguably like the best Moon Knight run ever. Like one of them anyway. It's so fucking incredible and trippy. And that's what we've heard from the Moon Knight series, that it's really like weird and trippy, and it's like you get those like street level elements that like you got with like Daredevil and with like the Netflix shows. So I'm very interested to see how brutal we're gonna get with Moon Knight. So you guys are in for some great shit. Man, just very, very excited for all of the cool shit coming out in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to wrap it up here. Again, we just wanted to have like a fun, quick show tonight before we get real busy with Moon Knight over the next couple of weeks. So Steve, tell the people where they can find you online.
Yeah, you can follow me at Scuba Steve 1428 on all social media. You can follow the ItMod page at the Blerd Mind Pod. There's a link tree that'll lead you to all 10 of us. We're all knuckleheads. We're all doing stuff on Twitch, and we're doing stuff on YouTube and everything like that. Everybody has their own avenues and things like that. You can tie into everybody. Shop at the Blerd Mind shop and the Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, I actually had a really good idea. I might like ask you to like write a quick review on the Moon Knight 2016 run, just so like people can see it. Like if you're interested, like we can talk about it off air.
Definitely.
But you guys can follow me all over social media at JB Exclusive. Follow me on Twitter. I talk about movies constantly. I will be seeing The Lost City. I'm actually really excited to watch The Lost City. I'm gonna see that tomorrow night. Then I'm going to see Morbius on April 3rd. Very excited to see that as well, because I'm going in with really low expectations. As long as Jared Leto's awesome and him and Matt Smith, trade really terrible one-liners, I'll be fine. I'm going to come out more positive than most people, but I'll be laughing at it because I know it's going to be quite terrible. But definitely check out the You've Got to See This podcast. Those guys have been grinding. There's already been 3 new episodes out. They have their review on the Batman. They also have their thoughts on the Oscar nominations. They also review the Adam Project, and they have 2 new episodes coming out next week, so stay tuned for that as well. You can find the link to that podcast on carefulforspoilers.com, where you can find all of the links to all of the podcasts on the C4S Podcast Network. Go to the merch store, get you one of the shirts or the hoodies that we have at the merch store. Check out the merch store on Inside the Mind of the Blerd. Check that out. The link tree is in the description below. And yeah, until we see you guys next week for the Moon Knight review, we will see you guys on the next one.